You wanted to talk to me about something? Well, of course I'm going to make time for you. Please, have a seat, have a seat. What is it? Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Well, as you know, we've been together for the last 20 years. Yep, ever since that day I woke up um, laying down on a blanket in your basement, handcuffed to the radiator. I mean, it was nice of you to handcuff my left hand to the radiator instead of my dominant right one, but yeah, yeah, oh yeah, I still remember that day. It's kind of hard to forget. Uh, let's be honest about that. Yeah, and to think it all started when I helped you outside of Sam's Club. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's too bad the place got sued out of existence. You know, Sam's Club. What's amazing is that people would sometimes show up at the parking lot expecting to find the other type of Sam's Club. Some of them seemed disappointed. That was the weird thing. Well, the guy's name was Sam, and he probably had every right to call it Sam's Club. I guess maybe if he had renamed it Sam's Place, or I don't know, Sam's Lounge, or maybe, well, anything to do with Sam other than calling it Sam's Club. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're a huge, giant company. You can pretty much crush anyone under your foot if they're not as big as you are. Yeah. There's a reason why Costco and Sam's Club don't battle it out in court, but yeah. So, yeah, I do remember that first time we met outside of Sam's Club. You were so desperate for a cigarette, and, well, you know, I gave up smoking nearly a year ago when I met you. But I still carried around that cheap, disposable lighter. I just couldn't bring myself to throw it out. Truth is, every time I was tempted to have a cigarette, I'd pull that lighter out, look at it, and it reminded me not to. But after the first few months, I stopped pulling it out. I didn't need to look at it. But I kept carrying it just in case. That night, when I met you outside of Sam's Club, and you had that last cigarette that you pulled out of your pack, and it was freezing cold, and you were so desperate. I mean, yeah, no lighter, not even a book of matches. The sheer panic in your eyes, the sheer frustration. What's that? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel sorry for you. So, yeah, I remembered that lighter, and I knew I'd feel guilty about handing it to you, but took it out of my pocket. I realized I just didn't need it anymore. So I gave it to you. You said thank you. And yeah, and I thought I was so fortunate to find a parking spot right in front of the club. You saw me climb into my car. You thanked me again. I waved at you. I wished you a good night, and then I pulled out. Yeah, I had no clue that you worked at the DMV. I had no clue that you had a photographic memory. I had no clue that you memorized my license plate number, and that's how you found me. Yeah, that's how you found me. And I was so surprised waking up in your basement 3 months later. I had no clue that you spent those 3 months finding out everything you could about me. Oh, there goes that pesky generator again. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. I contacted Julio. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to be stopping by during the weekend to take a look at it. We're good. We're good. I told you I'd take care of it, baby. I took care of it. But yeah, 3 months later, waking up in your basement. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't have been surprised that I was angry. Yeah, I mean, after I got over the initial shock and anger, I guess my mood and reaction wasn't quite what you expected, was it? No. What do you want me to say? Before I met you, before I realized that maybe I really should give our relationship a shot, even though you did kidnap me. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm still pretty impressed with how you did it, though. Yeah, never would have expected that. I got knocked out, and you managed to get me to your house. I mean, what can I say? It was very impressive looking back how you did it. But yeah, after my shock and anger at being kidnapped, I guess you didn't expect my reaction. I told you if you were going to use that butcher's knife, then just go ahead and use it. Let's get this over with. Yeah. I mean, at first, you thought I was joking. I wasn't. I wasn't. I mean, what do you want me to say? You know, being the black sheep of the family, considering everything that happened, you know, it's a hell of a thing when your parents have more than one child, and they like that one a hell of a lot better than they like you. I mean, parents like to say, oh, I don't have favorites. No, but they do. Let's face it, all parents have their favorites. But you know that, don't you? All parents have their favorites. The problem isn't that parents have their favorite. The problem becomes when they don't treat all of their children the same way, when they don't hold all of their children to the same standards. I mean, you can be a parent and you can have your favorite, but treat all of your kids the same way. Makes life a lot easier. But yeah, the look on your face, the reaction when you realized that I wasn't joking. You wanted us to be together forever because I was the first man who ever showed you any bit of kindness. Outside of your father, and unfortunately he passed away, and your mom was a little too quick to marry stepdaddy. Well, surprise, surprise. The house happened to be in your grandparents' name, your father's parents, not his name. Your mom had no clue, and when your grandparents died, they left you the house. Surprise, surprise. Admit it, you got a kick out of kicking them out, didn't you? Yeah, you did. So now you had a house fully paid off, and I mean, your job at the DMV as a manager, how did you pull that off at such a relatively young age? Well, a genius IQ will help you do that, but a genius IQ won't land you a lot of dates, will it? Every guy you went out with treated you like garbage. Every guy you went out with. I mean, you do have an attractive face, and let's face it, you didn't need to get plastic surgery in order to have a large chest, so. Well, yeah, you also have a very nice body. Well, sure, guys notice things like that. Well, I mean, no, if... Oh, that darn generator again. But yeah, I mean, you could have had any sort of body, any sort of average face. Guys care about how women treat them, and, you know, what can I say when you convinced me that rather than plunging that butcher's knife into my gut, that maybe you and I should try to make this new relationship work when you convinced me. I mean, it wasn't that hard to convince me. I could tell by the look in your eyes. When you said you wanted to protect me, keep me safe, keep me warm, feed me, take care of me, be there for me, I could tell you were being serious. Well, I wasn't sure if maybe you weren't all there. Just being honest, baby. But I could tell you were being serious, and when I look back on my life, being a man, the way I was treated back then 20 years ago, the way most men were being treated back then 20 years ago. Someone once did a study in which it was shown back then, I don't know who it was, but it was a very reputable place, that 80%, 80% of men are invisible to women. Like your kind doesn't even see us. And when one of us walks up to a woman and asks her out, the dirty looks, the suspicion, the disgusted attitude they used to give, I mean, that was just normal back then. It shouldn't have been, but it was. It was very difficult for me to get dates. And usually when women find out that you work a regular 9 to 5, that you don't have a career, that you don't have a ton of friends, that you don't have a flashy car or a huge bank account, it's like, ugh, why did I even go out with you? And we're talking the type of women who, if they weren't women, they wouldn't get dates at all. On a scale of 1 to 10, I was dating 2s and 3s when I could get a date, and some of them even rejected me right off the bat. I mean, it was just the sheer attitude they would give. You know, society made them into a privileged class. Society told them, oh, you don't have to work. You don't have to save up your money. Just marry a guy. Go out, have fun, marry a guy with money, and if you get sick of him, divorce him and take half his stuff. You know what the truly sad part is? During a divorce, everything that a man promises during a marriage is legally enforced. Everything a woman promises during a marriage, none of it is enforced. You know, man provides financial security, man provides a safe place to live, man provides all sorts of things that money can buy. You get divorced, the man has to pay and pay. But the things a woman promises, no courtroom on the planet can enforce the fact that she has to be nice to her ex-husband. No court on the planet enforces that she has to care about him or his feelings or let him see the children. I mean, yeah, technically there's court orders, but women ignore them, and back then they were never enforced. And yeah, there's no court in the world that forces a woman to sleep with her ex, even though that's something they promise during marriage. But yeah, everything that a guy promises his wife after she divorces him, he has to come up with. That's all legally enforced. At least it used to be 20 years ago. That's not right. And yeah, getting a date was so difficult. So when you came along and said, I want you, I want to be with you, we can have a life together, maybe one day I'll let you out of those handcuffs. Yeah, one day came a lot sooner than you expected, didn't it, baby? That's because I realized very quickly that, one, I couldn't do better than you, and two, I was sick and tired of trying. I wanted a better life, and ironically, being taken by you and chained to the radiator in your basement soon led to a better life. You wanted to know the truth? All those years ago, there it is. And the truth is, I will get that generator fixed very soon, don't you worry. But yeah, back then, 20 years ago, I found out rather quickly I wanted to be with you. I just pretended at first that I didn't. Well, that's the truth. All right. Let's go get some dinner.